Hello everybody. Good afternoon or good evening wherever you're at. inSAIght Najumu here, and welcome to another installment of inSAIght. Has been quite a while since we had an episode. I think the last one was around a month-ish or so ago, when we were talking about Batman the Animated Series. This time, we are back with another fighting game, right? We're going with another fighting game because, last time around, the last fighting game we actually talked about was the Arc System Works interpretation of Hokuto no Ken. This time, this is an original series made by a well-known developer who, well, we could say they pretty much kickstarted the fighting game genre, and that is Capcom. And to be precise, we're going to be talking about the Justice Gakuen series. So, the Justice Gakuen series, in short, is made up of 2 games and a half. Why am I saying 2 games and a half? Because we have the original game, which is Rival Schools United by Fate, aka in Japan, Shiritsu Justice Gakuen Legion of Heroes. And then we have the second game. Which also came out on the PlayStation 1, just like the first one, but it's called Neketsu Seishun Nikki 2. So there is no English version for this, unfortunately, but it actually felt like a little minor update. It's not like a massive overhaul when it comes to the game or the mechanics or like adding too many original characters, but we're going to talk about this in a little bit. And then we have the true sequel, which is Project Justice, aka Moero Justice Gakuen. And that had a lot more. It had a massive graphical upgrade because, the arcade version was released on the Naomi hardware, and thus it was immediately ported to the Sega Dreamcast. So, yeah. Now, unfortunately, we still do not have any signs of a new game, although Capcom still remembers the franchise. So, if anyone is familiar with Street Fighter V, there's a certain character from this franchise named Akira Kazama who actually made it into the last season of Street Fighter V's DLC. And yeah, it just shows that the company is still remembering the franchise, but there might be a good reason why we are still not getting a new one, or why we're not getting a collection. At least not yet. But I have hope. I have actual hope that in the future we'll be getting a collection because, lots of impossible things happened this year, like Street Fighter 6 having SNK characters, Terry and Life, Fatal Fury. We have a Marvel vs. Capcom collection, something that no one ever expected. Ace Attorney Investigations is back, and yeah, that's it. It's been quite a year of surprises when it comes to Capcom. So who knows what the future may hold, but we'll have to wait and see. So today's order of business is going to talk a little bit about my introduction to the franchise. Then we're going to talk about the games themselves, both Rival Schools and Project Justice, how they work, how they play, what kind of systems they have. And then we're going to talk a bit about the characters, a bit about their lore. And then last but not least, we're going to be watching some high-level Project Justice play from EVO Japan 2024. Because there was a side tournament there, and we're going to watch a little bit of it. We're not going to watch everything, because it wouldn't be fair for the person who actually streamed the tournament if you actually watch the whole thing. And actually, the whole thing is like almost 5 hours. We're not going to stay for 5 hours watching an entire tournament. But if you did enjoy what you'd see of the tournament, I have the link to the archive in the description, so you can feel free to check that out in playful whenever you want. Alrighty, let's start with a bit of an introduction. So, back during the PlayStation days, it was like the console where I was able to get most of my fighting games on, because sadly, the Sega Saturn didn't get enough love. The Sega Saturn did not get enough love, and well, it did not live as long as the PlayStation did, sadly. So eventually, I managed to get almost all of my fighting game purchases on it, and then I came across this series. I was not familiar with Capcom's 3D output when it comes to fighting games. I have not played Star Gladiator at the time, and when I looked at the box art and when I noticed that they promoted the game that it has 2 CDs, I was wondering, why does this game have 2 CDs? Is there like a lot of content in this game? So I was honestly curious, and then when I eventually bought it, I then understood why. Much like how Capcom was back in the late 90s with their ports, they packed this game to the brim with content. So not only do you have the regular arcade mode, you have a fully voiced arcade mode. A fully voiced story mode from all of the cast. And eventually, they managed to add extra characters that are not in the arcade version. They added a number of wild mini games. We're going to talk about those in a little bit. And it just felt so feature rich, right? Like it had that super cool anime intro, which kind of gets you into the mood. And I honestly felt like the developers had a lot of fun working on this. Like, I understand this was like it's like Capcom's own interpretation of a high school drama, but with more fighting, to say the least. With more fighting. And that's something I actually appreciate a lot, and I actually feel that it's a little bit different from how fighting games was. Fighting games used to be all about, combatants from all over the world. They're professionals. They're champions, right? When you look at stuff like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or Tekken or Virtua Fighter or the King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, they're all seasoned martial artists, right? Not quite when it comes to rival schools, though, because they're mostly teens, right? They're mostly teens who have gotten themselves in a situation due to someone. I'm going to talk about them in a bit. Due to someone trying to manipulate everything and trying to rule over all of Japan's schools with an iron fist. So yeah, it was refreshing at the time. It was refreshing. And when they said that this franchise was about a vigor, they did not lie. They did not lie. So honestly, it felt like I actually enjoyed this. Like, I was a teen at the time as well, and I thought that the game kind of resonated with me as a youth, right? It's all about working together and being good friends with each other and trying to stop those who are trying to, mess other people up, to say the least. But yeah, I was immediately hooked. I was a massive fan. And unfortunately, I did not have anyone to play the game against with. And of course, back in the day, there was no proper online play. So it was mostly me playing it alone. And eventually, when I managed to get a Dreamcast, and once I heard that there was a sequel to this game, I thought, all right, I have to get this. I must get this. And wow, the graphical improvement is just wild. Like going from an equivalent of a PlayStation 1 arcade board to the Najumu, which is similar to that of a Sega Dreamcast, is like super impressive. Super impressive. At least at the time, though. At least at the time, though. When you look at like the rival schools models, they all look blocky and they look kind of weird. Like especially when you look at Gan, right? Gan is like the big body from Ghetto High School, and he looks like a blocky mess. He looks like a overgrown Lego. Because back in the mid to early 90s, companies weren't too used to having like amazing looking 3D graphics. It took a bit of a while until we managed to get like close to very good visuals. And fortunately, when it comes to the Rival Schools franchise, when it moved on to Project Justice, it looks actually pretty good. Actually, it looked pretty good at the time. The game was released in 2000, I believe, and the original Rival Schools was 1997 for the arcades. So kind of like a 3-ish year gap. And yeah, goes to show you how much like technology was rapidly improving. Yeah, and like even to this day, we're getting like crazy graphical upgrades with every new installment of a game. Like if you, for example, we'll talk a bit about Street Fighter. When you move from Street Fighter 4 to 5 to 6, it's a massive difference. It's a massive difference when it comes to how good it looks. So yeah, I did get it on the Sega Dreamcast. Of course, I had a lot of fun with it, but I was a little bit disappointed because the story mode did not have voice acting this time. I don't know what was going on with Capcom at the time. They probably decided to, probably just lower the budget a little bit because they have a lot of games they released at the time. A lot. They had like Power Stone, they had Tech Romancer, they had Capcom versus SNK, they had Marvel versus Capcom 2. So many games, so many fighting games that they were releasing at close to each other, even though they are pretty different. You can't play like Power Stone the same way as you can with Marvel 2. The same thing you can't play CBS 2 the same way as you can play with Project Justice. But yeah, probably they decided, all right, we're just not gonna spend the budget on that. But yeah. And yeah, there were a few things that were unfortunately omitted from the US version of the game, which is why I eventually had to track down the Japanese version of the game. And at the time, I barely knew anything about Japanese, so I had to use a guide for that one. I think there was still a guide for the mode that was not brought over to the US version of Project Justice. So I managed to just play it for fun, right? We're going to talk about the board game once we switch over to the gameplay portion of the episode. Yeah, that's how I got to experience and honestly love this franchise. It's not just because of the gameplay, but the characters as well. I'm gonna say like a lot of the characters were well designed. I love the artwork for both games. They were done by Edian. I believe that's their name. I hope I pronounced their name correctly. Edian. Love their art style. They also did the artwork for Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Revival for the GBA. And I'm not sure if they're still at Capcom or not. Hopefully they still are. And if they ever make a third game, hopefully they'll be able to illustrate the portraits for the characters. Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully one day. Hopefully one day. But yeah, I think that should pretty much be it for the introduction. So talk a little bit about my experience with the franchise. But now let's talk about the games themselves. So let me switch screens right now. There we go. And let's bring up slideshow. Bam. So, like I said earlier, this is how rival schools actually look. You see that? It's quite blocky. It's not the best looking 3D game at the time, because remember, this was the year where games like Tekken 3 existed, and Tekken 3 for the PlayStation 1 was pretty much a visual marvel when it comes to 3D games. But Capcom was just, experimenting with the 3D look. They wanted to see, I wanted to see how the third dimension would work for them. But as you can see here, we have two characters. Team. Yes, this is pretty much a team game. But here's the thing, though. It's not like in the King of Fighters where if you lose the round, you get to use your teammate. No, you will be given the option to either continue with your first character or switch to your partner. So that's not the only thing your partner can do. The partner can do a party up attack. So what is a party up attack? A party up attack is basically an attack that uses up a bit of meter and can give you a different set of outcomes depending on who is your partner. So for example, in this picture here, we have Batsu and we have Kyosuke as his partner. So Kyosuke, for example, has an offensive party up attack. So an offensive party up attack is one that actually does damage. It's not, and every character has a different animation. It's not the same. All the characters have different animations and different effects when it comes to their attacks, and different startups, right? Different startup animations. So for example, we also have, on your right, we have Roy and we have Tiffany as his assist. So Tiffany's party up attack is a healing attack, is a healing party up assist. So once you manage to summon her, for example, she'll give you a bit of a pep talk, to say the least. That's the nicest way of saying it. And you manage to get a little bit of health back. It's the same with another assist. So, for Kyoko, who is from Justice High, she gives you a massage, a literal massage, right? She just basically walks over, gives your character a massage, and you get your health back. There is other party up attacks which allow you to get even more meter. So in this game, meter is kind of ridiculous because you had 9 bars of meter. So 9 bars of meter, and like your party up attack, I believe takes only 2 bars of meter. I think it was 1 bar. It was either or. And your supers only take 1 bar of meter. So yeah, you have a lot of opportunities in order to use your meter. There's also a defensive mechanic called the target counter, which is basically like Street Fighter Alpha's alpha counter. You do it while you're in block stun, and then you knock the opponent away or push them away. And let's see, what else? What else do we have here? Ah, yes, the button scheme. The button scheme. You have it's similar to that, surprisingly enough, to the King of Fighters. We have light punch, heavy punch, and then we have light kick and heavy kick. And there is an air combo system to this as well. And when we go into Project Justice, it has like a certain set of strings that you can do, but some characters can go beyond that. You can do like a launcher, which is done by either down forward heavy kick or heavy punch, and then you can do something like light punch, and then light kick, and then double heavy punch and then double heavy kick, for example. I'm just giving like a basic example of this. But yeah, the combo system in this game is not too complicated, and I'm pretty sure it's intentional because they want people like who aren't too keen in playing fighting games in order to give this a try, because school dramas were kind of a thing back in the 90s. And this has a very, very strong anime aesthetic, which would attract a lot of casual players, especially in Japan. So they didn't make it too complicated. They wanted to make it like pretty simple enough in order for anyone to pick up and play. Now, moving on to its sequel. This is how a basic match looks like in Project Justice. So as you can see here, compared to the first game, we now have 2 more people at the bottom. So instead of it's a 2v2 game, it's now a 3v3 game. So now you can pick 2 other characters that you can use 2 different assists with. And there is a special 3-person party attack that takes 5 bars, the whole 5 bars that you can see at the bottom here. Compared to the first game, this game has a maximum amount of 5 bars only. Because developers probably thought, that's just too much. That's just too much meter. Let's just give them 5. And yeah, and the animation is consistent depending on which school you're representing. So for example, we talked about Batsu and Kyosuke earlier. So while they have different party up attacks, once they initiate the triple party attack, it's the same because they are from the same school. But yeah, the party up attack is pretty much the same here when it comes to picking one of your partners. It's either an offensive or a healing type of assist or a meter building type of assist. And yeah, they are unique between all the characters, just like the first game. But there's a bit of a change now. If you have enough meter, you can counter your opponent's assist all, and you have a bit of a timer where one of your other characters, the third character in your team, would try their best in order to hit the opponent in order for the party up attack not happen. If they failed to do so, the player who initiated the party up attack will still hit the opponent. So that's kind of a bit of an interesting strategy that they added, so that people wouldn't just be abusing just party attacks whenever they have enough meter, because you're going to be using that meter for stuff like supers, or if you want to use the triple party attack. So basically, it just encourages you to carefully use your assists depending on the meter that you have. Alrighty. So, we talked about the fighting part of Rival Schools. What about the extra stuff in Rival Schools and Project Justice? Well, as we can see here on the PlayStation version of the original rival schools, we have mini games, and they're basically focused on the sports school of the franchise, Gakuen High, and this one is a hit the target mini game by using Natsu and using her volleyballs. So you see at the bottom right there, you see a number of character heads. Once you hit the character heads, you can get a certain amount of score, except if you hit the Raizo head, you will lose 200 points, for example. It's a pretty nice breather when it comes to playing the game, like compared to just doing the story mode the entire time. You can just like play one school story mode, take a break, and then you can just play a bit of the mini games, which are all available on the second disc of the PlayStation release. Also, there is a home run derby. That's right. If you're going to have someone who plays baseball and you're going to add mini games in there, you gotta have someone who plays baseball. You gotta have someone who plays baseball and have a baseball-based mini game. So the objective of here is obviously you need to hit the ball as strong as you can in order to get a home run. And the more home runs you get, the higher score you get. Pretty simple, right? And I believe there was also one of the first games that had a tutorial mode. Right? You know, nowadays in fighting games, you have like tutorial modes. When you start the game, you have like a big menu which shows you the list of moves that you're able to do and the list of the mechanics that are available. This actually happened first in rival schools. Yeah. And it makes sense because you have teachers that you get to play as too. So it's pretty much while it is a for fun type of fighting game, it did introduce a few new things that eventually the fighting game genre managed to adopt in future releases. Now, let's talk a little bit about this mode. This mode sadly did not come over to the US because it was relegated to the second game, which is Neketsu Seishun Nikki 2. And it's basically a school life sim. It's kind of part dating sim, part life sim, where you get to like interact with the characters, with most of the cast. You get to hang out with them, you get to know more about them, and basically it's a mode where it could be pretty much a game by itself, which explains why they actually released this as an update to the original rival schools. But they decided, all right, let's put it in a new disc, okay? Let's put it in a new disc. Let's throw in a couple of new characters in there, and we'll call it. But sadly, thanks to the massive amounts of text that is available in that mode, Capcom at the time decided, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to translate this over. This stays in Japan. We're not going to sell this here in the US. It's probably too complicated for us in order to release it. We'd rather have other games that we'd like to release. So unfortunately, this mode never made it outside Japan. And speaking of modes that never made it out of Japan, Project Justice also had a mode where you can create your own custom character. You can put them in any school that you want, and then you can play a board game. A board game where you get to build up your custom character stats and get moves from the other members of the cast in the game. I was so disappointed that this did not come to the US version of Project Justice, because when I played the Japanese version, even without understanding very much of it, I thought it was amazingly fun. Right? It's amazingly fun. Like, there is some fun interactions they can have in the board, and once you're like playing with a friend, and then you have your custom characters fight each other, they have this cute little fight scene where they're like chibis, as you can see here on the board. They're like chibi versions of themselves trying to beat each other up and see who'd win. And yeah, honestly feel like this board game should have gotten another chance for it to be translated into English. But, you know, like I said, it's Capcom in the early 2000s. They got a lot in their plate, and the translation team probably decided, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're just not gonna do any of that. We're just not gonna do any of that. But with that said, maybe if we'll get a collection one day, maybe we'll get all of these translated, but who knows? But this is the year of miracles when it comes to Capcom. They decided to finally fully translate a game that never came to the United States or Europe, which is Ace Attorney Investigations 2. So who knows what the future may hold, right? Who knows what the future may hold? Alrighty, we talked a bit about the game, we talked about the mechanics, we talked a little bit about the side games that are available in both games, and now let's move on to the characters. Yes, the meat of the entire franchise. So you're gonna see a little bit of weird quality when it comes to the art, because these are super old games, and you cannot find too many high quality versions of the original artwork that I can display here. But we're gonna start things off with IO High, who are basically 1/4 of the protagonists. Why am I saying this? Because I feel that while Batsu, who is the one on the left, is the main character of the story, I feel like each school is like a protagonist on its own. And it feels like it's a little bit different. Like, we know with Street Fighter, we know Ryu is the main character. In KOF, it's Kyo, and then we have Iori as well. In Fatal Fury, it's Terry Bogard. But I feel in this game, due to the fact that there are so many schools that you get to put your focus on, that they also feel like main characters, right? So let's talk a little bit about the Taiyo characters. So on the left, we'll start from left to right. We're gonna start with Batsu. Batsu is, of course, the main character. He is the personification of vigor, right? He always is ready to fight for his friends, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter to him. And he has some of like the loudest screams, the loudest vigorous screams that you'd ever hear, and that is courtesy to none other than Nobuyuki Hayama. Yes, absolute one of the best PA out there. When you want someone who is very, very energetic, who is very, very hot-blooded, to say the least. Also, for those who do play recent Capcom fighting games, he did show up in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom as a playable character, and he was a solo unit in the first Project X Zone. So yeah, he has been remembered at the very least recently, compared to a lot of the other characters. And then we have Hinata. Hinata is just a girl who's just tagging along and is like very happy-go-lucky and pretty much wants to support her friends, right? She has two other friends that we're going to talk about in a little bit. they have quite a strong connection with each other as friends. And then we have Kyosuke. Kyosuke is, the typical pretty boy who is very quiet, very brooding. He doesn't talk too much. But eventually he does have an important part in the story. Once we get to reach that character, we're gonna talk about them a little bit more and their relationship with that character. And he's pretty much, he has like fireballs like Frost Cutter, and he has his DP, which is done by a kick, for example. And also, yes, he was in Capcom vs. SNK 2, and compared to how he was in Project Justice, he was actually a pretty strong character. He sadly was one of the worst characters in Capcom vs. SNK 2, and not even roll cancel can save him in that game. But they did manage to keep his air combos, which is, pretty cool, to say the least. And they did give him a team super where he manages to summon both Batsu and Hinata, and I think that's a pretty great thing. But sadly, in CVS 2, he's not very good. Oh, hey Rayquaza, welcome. Good morning. You're doing well. Alrighty, that is the Taiyo High students. Now let's move on to the second set of students, and that's from Gorin High. So Gorin is a very sports-centric school. As you can see, we have 3 characters who represent 3 different sports. We have Shoma, who is a baseball player. He managed to get into baseball thanks to his big brother, and he managed to enter into this whole battle between schools because his brother was assaulted by someone from Justice High. So he's out to find who managed to hurt his brother, and eventually managed to stop the bad guys in their tracks. So, as you'd expect, he manages to use his bat. He swings his bat and has a home run super where he just bashes you with a bat, and then you turn into flame as you fly into the sky. He manages to have an infinite amount of baseballs, interestingly enough. Wouldn't be surprised where these baseballs come from, but it's fighting games. You don't need to put in too much logic in it. And then we have Natsu. And she is one of the friends that I mentioned earlier who is related to Hinata. And she's a volleyball player. So most of her attacks includes serving the volleyball, and it includes moves that you basically see in volleyball as well. Especially that dive, that low dive when you want to hit the ball, when it bounces from one side to the other, and you have to slide down in order to hit the ball before it hits the ground. She has that as a special. Then we have Roberto. Roberto, as you'd expect, is a part Japanese, part Brazilian football player, or soccer player for those of you who live in America. And as you'd expect, he has football animations. He kicks balls. He kicks footballs. He kicks soccer balls. And he kicks them so hard that they turn into fire and they do a lot of damage. So he is basically, I believe, an exchange student, from what I remember. But yeah, he's predominantly Japanese, but he has some of that Brazilian blood in him, which explains why he loves soccer a lot. Okay, moving on to the next school. Now we're going to talk about Gedo High. Gedo High is where the delinquents reign, right? You know, we have as you can see in front of you, you see them, you think, oh, these are a bunch of very roughhousing punks. So on your left, at the beginning, we have Akira. Now you might be wondering, if you knew of Akira from Street Fighter V, why is she wearing this kind of helmet? why, excuse me, why does she look like that, right? That's because in the rival school story, she presented as herself as the brother of the leader of Gedo High School. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. And she didn't want to appear like that she's a girl, right? She wanted to show that she's tough enough in order to save and find her brother. And then we have next, beside her, we have Edge. He's pretty much the regular punk, and he has, much like other characters in the game, an infinite supply of something, and that's knives. Yeah, this boy has a lot of knives. He likes cutting and slicing and dicing. I don't know if he makes julienne fries, but, you know, he's pretty much, once you listen to him speak or listen to him talk, you'd notice, oh yeah, this guy's a punk, to say the least. And then we have next to him is his partner in crime. It's Gan. Gan is probably the biggest character in the game. He is a big body, and he actually uses sumo as a fight style. No, he does not do like a flying sumo headbutt like E Honda, but he does have the sumo style slaps, and he is the primary grappler of the game. Also, just like every big character in media at the time, he just likes to eat a lot. Yeah, he just likes to eat a lot. He's just there for the ride, you know, and just like trying to punch or push anyone who thinks like he's like a pushover, right? All right, next up, oh, look at that. It's Akira again, but without her helmet. So eventually, we get to understand that she is this person's sister, and that is Daigo. Absolutely one of the coolest designs in the franchise. Daigo is not technically a punk like the other two. No. He is tough, but with a heart of gold. Right? He is tough, but with a heart of gold. And he basically tries to let order go well within Gedo High School. So, especially when it comes to Edge and Gan trying to do whatever they want, he just tries to discipline them in his own way, like giving them a good smack in the head. But yeah, he is one of the few characters who are console exclusive to rival schools. I believe he was not in the arcade version of the game. But yeah, as you'd expect from a tough guy like him, he's all about the punches. He's all about the very focused karate. And yeah, pretty much like his sister as well. Okay, next up, we're gonna talk about Pacific High, aka the foreign students. We got 3 foreign students here, and we're starting with Roy on the left. He is pretty much your pretty much standard American transfer student. Like, he just came in here and as a, how can I say this? As a representative of a number of American schools in order to find out what is going on with Japan's schools. Like, Justice High is doing a lot of strange things right now. It's trying to take over it's trying to see why there are many school kidnappings that are happening recently. So he was sent by his father alongside this girl here. I think even if you are not familiar with rival schools, and if you actually search like on YouTube and write Project Justice or rival schools, she's the first character who pops up. And that is Tiffany. She is a cheerleader. she is a cheerleader, and as with all cheerleaders, she is very flexible in more ways than one. I'm just gonna say that because especially when it comes to Project Justice, she has interesting throws and an interesting and an even equally interesting throw super. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I also forgot about Roy. Roy is actually a football player, which is why when he does his ground projectile, his column of energy, that's why he says touchdown. Right? He has this kind of like Terry Bogard aura. And even when it comes, especially when it comes to Project Justice, he eventually gets a special that is pretty much similar to that of the Burn Knuckle. I wonder if this just is an inspiration or intentional. But yeah, and then we have the last character, who is Bowman. Bowman is pretty much a big body brawler who is practicing to be a preacher, right? That's why you get to see a lot of his moves or even supers involve the cross, the Christian cross. So he is very much the type of person who does not want to fight a lot. He wants to deal with things peacefully, despite being extremely strong, like very buff and very strong. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting take that they went when it comes to a character, to say the least. Alrighty, next up we have teachers. You can't have a game with students without the teachers. So we have this power couple. Yeah, I know I'm probably kind of spoiling it right now, but eventually these two become a couple. But initially in rival schools, they were brainwashed by the main antagonist of the first game. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So Hideo over here is, how can I say this? He is a, let me remember. Oh yeah, he is a Japanese language teacher. And he is pretty much the Akuma of this game. Why? Because he has air fireballs, he has regular fireballs, he has a honest to God Shoryuken and a Shin Shoryuken. Okay, that's something that Ryu has, but regardless. And he has a dive. That's something Akuma definitely has. But interestingly enough, it isn't on Satsuken or Shotokan, but it's his own family's martial arts style called Shimazu Ryu. And I don't know. Maybe they were inspired by the Shoto / Unsatsuken trio. Who knows? And then on the right we have Kyoko. Kyoko, I mentioned earlier that her party up move is her giving you a massage. You want to know why? Because she's a school nurse. Yeah. I don't know how a school nurse became powerful enough in order to do stuff like very hurtful kicks when it comes to her moveset and like counter moves and whatnot, but yeah, she can hold the fight pretty well. But yeah, these are the two teachers that we have. There's still one more teacher that we're going to look at in a little bit, and it's this guy right there. This guy in the left. That is Hayato. Hayato is from Taiyo High, and he is a gym teacher. And he uses a kendo stick. Yeah. We haven't seen many fighting game characters who uses kendo as a martial art, but now we have this. We have this individual here. He is pretty much a very loud, very, very energetic teacher who just wants all of his students in order to do their very best when it comes to getting fit, right? And remember when I mentioned earlier why there could be a reason that we couldn't see any of the rival schools / Project Justice games as a compilation? Well, that's because he was designed by someone outside of Capcom, and I believe his name is Kazuhiko Shimamoto. And he is a well-known mangaka who worked on several titles and was assigned in order to design Hayato for the console version of the game. So alongside Daigo, he was the other character who showed up exclusively on the console versions of rival schools. And then you see on your right, she's very familiar. Everyone who plays Street Fighter, everyone who knows what Street Fighter is, knows who she is, and that's Sakura. Because, you know, if you're going to have a school-based fighting game, and, you know, you already have a character who is fairly popular. She was introduced in Street Fighter Alpha 2, and a lot of people loved her despite just being a massive fangirl for Ryu. You might as well add her in, right? You might as well add her in. So she is a solo entry, and she's representing Tamagawa Minami High. So it was never mentioned before in the Street Fighter series that she had a school affiliation, but they decided, all right, we're gonna do that in rival schools. And she is the second person who is friends with Hinata and Natsu. So you might be, so if people were wondering, hey, how did Akira made it into Street Fighter? Well, it's just a result of things going full circle. Basically connecting, once again, both the Street Fighter and Rival Schools franchises. Just like Capcom did with Street Fighter and Final Fight. So yeah, they're all taking in the same universe. And it's funnily enough, I know it's different from Rival Schools themselves, but we're now including Fatal Fury into this because, you know, with Street Fighter 6, we'll be having Terry and Mai, right? So basically, Southtown is probably in the same timeline or in the same period as Street Fighter that happens. And then, of course, we can also include Tekken because Akuma was also in Tekken. So it just goes to show you that the world of fighting games is a lot more interconnected than one would think. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the bosses. The bosses. Everyone knows that in a fighting game, you need to have some good bosses. And we have two of them. We have Raizo, this big guy, this massive mound of muscle who looks pretty cool in the artwork, but once you see his PS1 PS1 model for Rival Schools, he just looks like a massive block with claws. He looks like a massive block with claws, and you've been wondering, whoa, what is going on with him? Yeah, but it turns out he is the guy who is the principal of Justice High, and eventually we get to learn that he too, just like the other two teachers, Hideo and Kyoko, was also brainwashed by that guy on the right, who is Hyo. Hyo is pretty much, you know, very elegantly dressed and very straight, to say the least. And of course, he cheats by using an actual sword. Yes, he is actually a sword user. And of course, like, he has probably one of the longest ranges in the game. He's pretty strong. He was pretty strong in Rival Schools, and I believe also in Project Justice as well. I think he's one of the best characters in Project Justice as well, from what I remember. But these two are actually related to two of the other Taiyo characters. So Raizo, turns out that he was Batsu's dad. And Hyo is actually Kyosuke's brother. And basically Kyosuke was used by his brother in order to, I believe, infiltrate the schools and get more information out of it. But once he manages to build bonds with Batsu and Hinata, things change. He turns on his brother. He tells him, no, come on, big bro, you shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't rule over the schools and enforce your own form of discipline by brainwashing everyone. That's not the right thing to do. And yeah, eventually, they managed to thwart his plans, and then he manages to disappear for a while. But he will be back in the next game. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Now then, as I mentioned earlier, there is the update for the original Rival Schools that came out in Japan only, and it also introduces two other characters. Apologies for the small picture, but I could not find any big pictures for either of them. And that's Ran, right up there. Ran up there, she is from Taiyo, and she is a school photographer. So basically, she is just uses that camera and beats you up by using the camera flash. That's it. Yeah, she's pretty much, I wouldn't say she's pretty weak, because once we head into Project Justice, there's a character who's even weaker, but she definitely earned that surname that she has. So her full name is Ran Hibiki. So if you're familiar with Capcom games, you might remember Hibiki as a surname. There's another character that I know who was in Street Fighter who also has a last name as Hibiki and also rhymes with Ran. Are these two related? Capcom did not mention if Ran and, of course, Dan are familiar, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm really surprised because, as said earlier, these two are set in the same universe, Street Fighter and Rival Schools. I wouldn't be surprised if she's like his cousin or sister, or who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's a relative. Maybe it's some form of they have some sort of family relationship. And then we have the guy at the bottom here who is Nagare. Nagare is from Goren High, and as you can see with his outfit and his looks, he's a swimmer. He's a swimmer of very, very few words, but a lot of weird swimming movements. Like, I did not play this version of the game, but I did play him in Project Justice, but my man can summon waves after flipping his legs, to say the least, on the ground. He also has a dive move. He also has a command grab where he tries to give you CPR, and of course the opponent pushes you away. And he has a super where he actually just swims in the air. See, and when I said in the description there's a bit of silliness in this franchise, I did not lie. And this man of many words is a true example of that. Nagare is a very special character, to say the least, but He is pretty much a kind senpai to the other Gorin students, and eventually he graduates to university. He graduates to the Gorin University, right? He's probably like the first university student who shows up in the franchise that is full of high schoolers. But yeah. Next up, we're gonna introduce some of the new characters who show up in Project Justice. And yeah, the portraits, they look very, very small. I am so sorry, but the fact is that the original website of the game does not exist on the internet anymore. And this is almost a 25-year-old game, so it might be pretty much hard finding high-res artwork for any of these characters. So they have an eclectic bunch of characters who debuted in Project Justice. And we're gonna start with this Munchkin. This Munchkin here on the left is Momo. And much like other Gorin High students, she plays tennis. And she has a very nasally voice, so I'm pretty sure that if you ever get to hear her or see her play, you would close the game and never play it again. But please don't do that, because the game is actually pretty fun. And despite Momo being this slightly overdone cutesy, though she does it intentionally though, cutesy character, she is working for someone. She is working for someone, but eventually we're gonna see how that happens. And then we have on the right, the next character we have here is Yurika. Yurika is, as you can see here, she has a violin. She doesn't beat you up with a violin. No. That would be like too painful for her, because she doesn't want to waste a good violin. So before Ino was a thing in Guilty Gear, Yurika was here to beat you up with the musical notes. Yeah. By using the power of her violin, she can summon massive notes that can attack the opponent. And despite that, she's actually very acrobatic as well. But yeah. And then we move on to Zaki. Zaki is the example of a character who, let me see, like we from Gedo earlier, we had like the stereotypical punks, right? But she is this type of female gangster, right? And she uses like a chain full of energy, right? She uses a chain of energy that releases projectiles, and she has an attitude to match her look. So these two right there, they are part of Seijun High School. They are part of Seijun High School, and don't expect them they went there alone. No. They are teamed up with Akira, who, remember, we go back here earlier. Let's go back. Where is she? Akira, right here. She decided to leave Gedo because now that she found her brother, she can now like continue her own high school life, and she joined Seijun High School alongside Yurika and Zaki. So basically, it was a good opportunity for her to. It's an all-girls school too, and it's basically a good way for her to actually get in touch with her feminine self, to say the least, because she always presents herself as very strong and is very like serious when it comes to martial arts. And having these two characters, like Yurika being like soft and elegant, and Zaki being very tough and no nonsense, it gives her like a different set of friends compared to the other two punks from earlier. It's a nice change of pace for her. And then we have Incho. aka an English chairperson. She does not have a name. She is just called chairperson. No name, no nothing. She is just a Taiyo High student class president, or chairperson, to say the least. And she is pure karate. She is pure karate, and unfortunately is also one of the weakest characters in Project Justice. Yeah. She's very useful as an assist because she manages to give you like extra health and extra meter to add to your character. But otherwise, yeah, she's also pretty funny though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, one of her supers has her summon an entire board where she gets to explain things. I think that's her assist attack. And then she has like a super where she manages to kick the opponent in the shins, and then she scolds them so hard that the energy from the scold manages to hit the opponent. I don't know how, but you know, that's part of the game. That's part of the game's logic. That's part of the game's logic, and that's why I love it. That's why I love it. It's silly. It has its serious moments, but it can be silly if it wants to. And then we have on the right the central antagonist, who is Kuro. Kuro is basically the mastermind of all of the bad things that happen in Project Justice. And he is the one who got this munchkin on the left, Momo, and the next one on the right, Yurika, who we eventually learn that it's his sister. Right? There's so many like familial surprises that we get to learn when it comes to this game. So yeah, I think it's kind of a common thing. So Kuro, his goal is basically pretty much like Hyo. He wants to take over all of Japan's schools and like rule over them with an iron fist, and he brainwashes everyone. It's pretty much similar to that of Hyo, but he is a lot more sinister. Why? Because he manages to disguise himself as Batsu, and he calls himself Vatsu. Like, honestly, I would look at this guy's hair and then think, okay, are we sure that this really is Batsu? Are we really sure that this guy isn't the real Batsu who we actually fought before in the previous game? But no, everyone gets fooled. Everyone gets fooled by him, by this imposter, which forces Batsu to go into hiding, and eventually gets to become stronger and has a very strange looking sage outfit. I forgot to get an image of burning Batsu in here, but yeah, that's his alternate look. And alongside that, having Momo and Yurika doing his thing, he has a flute where he manages to take control over Daigo. Daigo, we mentioned earlier, he is this very calm, very straight to the point kind of character, but once he plays this flute, he just turns into like Riot of the Blood Iori, for example. He just goes berserk. For some reason. And it's probably related to how his I think it's probably related to how his bloodline is, how the Kazuma bloodline is. But yeah, this game manages to up the ante when it comes to spiritual things, because as you see on your right, we have Hyo, But it's not just regular Hyo. No. He is now possessed by his father's spirit and becomes Demon Hyo. So now he has this massive mound of hair and now wields two swords. He now wields two swords, and as you'd expect, he is pretty strong when it comes to fighting him as a boss. He is the penultimate final boss of the game. So you get to fight him after Kuro. Eventually, we managed to defeat him, and well, he's pretty much gone for good from the franchise. That's because his original voice actor, Kaneto Shiozawa, has also passed away during that time, and Capcom pretty much confirmed, like, yeah, he's done. Yeah, he won't be coming back. He is 100% dead because of his original VA also passing away close to that time, and may he rest in peace. But yeah, the end of the story has Kuro, while he was hospitalized, he escaped. So this is pretty much not the end of Kuro's rampage, because he may come back again in the future if we have a third game happening. Hopefully someday. But yeah, that's pretty much almost all of the cast that shows up in both games. Quite an interesting bunch. Some are your traditional fighting game fare. Some are very surprisingly weird, and you get that from mostly the Gorin High students. But yeah, lots of fun characters, lots of fun designs in here, and personally, yeah, I really like a lot of the characters. If I want to pick a favorite, though, I don't know, it's kind of hard to pick a favorite, because, like I said, this game has more than one protagonist. Like, when we go back for a little bit, this game has more than one protagonist. Roy can be considered as a protagonist, right? Akira can be considered as a protagonist, especially in Project Justice, because she is leading the Seiyujin high school team. Shoma can be considered as a protagonist because, once you get into the story mode, you get to, they're the protagonist of their own school. And of course, we have Batsu, who is pretty much the poster boy of the franchise, which is why we get to see him in a lot of other games, like crossovers. As mentioned earlier, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom and Project X Zone, for example. But yeah, I believe that should be it when it comes to the characters. I think that should be pretty much it when it comes to the characters. Let me see if there's anyone else. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the characters. Okie dokie. Now we get to the fun part, an even more fun part. I want to watch with you guys a little bit of high-level play for Project Justice, because believe it or not, just like a lot of other Japanese fighting games, there are scenes for fighting games that are still played to this day. Like everyone knows, like with something like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, plenty of people still play that in the arcades, and that game came out in 1999. Until this day, they're still playing this game. But yeah, there was a recent side tournament that happened in Evo, Japan, and it has been streamed live by Matsujasu, and like I said, the full stream is available in the link in the description, but for now we're just going to watch a little bit so that you guys would actually see a bit of how the game works. We're going to probably pause sometimes so we can see, so I can like explain what happens during the matches. But yeah, without further ado, hold on, let me just hide this for now. We just stop the BGM and let's bring this up. And you guys see it right now? Hold on. There we go. Ooh, it's a little big. Big. Hold on, let me try to fix this. There we go. There it is. Primero Justice Gakuen in Evo Japan 2024. Project Justice Side Tournament in Evo Japan 2024. Alrighty, let's start. All right, let's just move a little bit. Let me get the audio up. Sorry. All right, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. Just a moment. Just a moment. Let's look at a little bit of this. Oh, that's a tardy counter. And then, as you can see here, there is the regular air strain. Also, throws are pretty powerful in Project Justice. Is this an infinite? No, it's not. There are infinites in the game, though. Oh, now we're looking at Hideo. Hideo is probably one of the strongest characters in the game. And you're gonna see why. Hyo as well. Oh, you see how much damage Hyo did? He's pretty good. Oh, you see that? There's the dive kicks. Oh, he used an air throw. Yeah, I forgot to mention that there are air throws in this game as well. All right, let's move on. Where is this? Okay, let's put the character select screen. Oh, someone is using chairperson. A chairperson or incho. Oh, they're using it on point? That's crazy. Yeah, like I said, she's pretty much the weakest character in the game, but it's kind of interesting that this person is using her. Oh, the juggles? I'm not sure if that's an infinite or not, but yeah. You get to see some of these juggles happen in this game. Oh, of course he's gonna switch from Incho. Oh, it's a Batsu mirror. Okay. Batsu is actually pretty decent despite him being a mix of Batsu and Kuro's movesets.
茶色側がミッドさんで、うまい先端を使ってきた。
Yeah, this ball of scratchy energy, that's from Kuro.
ああやってちょっと熱血コンボのルートを思い出すまでにもう少し時間がかかるがいいですね。大足で隙を消しておいてヤシャ車おったー。
Oh, what a whiff.
プラトンもから、空を切る試合弾で
Uh-oh.
どんどんおーっと間に合う。
Oh, that missed. Yeah, they were panicking a little bit.
そうですね。学校ごとに性能は違ったりするんですけど、太陽学園の3プラトンは非常に優秀。
Okay, yeah, he won
と
the
いうわけ
round.
で、0回戦勝ち抜きがミッドさんになりました。おめでとうございます。
All right, let's move a little bit randomly in the archive because we're not going to watch everything.
まだもう一回やりますのでね。また
Because maybe when we move forward, we get to find a bit more higher level play. All right, where is it? Right here?
ロザーズ1回戦で言い方合ってるのかわかんないですけど、はい、
あ、ちょっと俺のギャグセンスがどうのとか言ってる人のコメントじゃないんじゃ
Yeah, what you saw earlier is a target counter. And this is how air combos usually work. Also, a lot of characters in the game have air supers, which kind of helps in adding more damage.
イエーイやったーみたいな感じで。
Yeah, see, like I said, Yurika is pretty good in like throwing notes.
つながった。これで体力差
Oh
は
yeah,
なく
time
なっ
to
た。
do some push-ups.
ここで隼人の方がお手軽に一気に減らせる分、こういう試合になるとうまい後ろ強パンチ。うまい。うまい強パンチ。吹っ飛ばしてしゃがみ投げ。やりますね。
Yeah, look at that. Throws taking like 3 stocks
素晴らしい。バック
of
ステッ
health.
プから
Oh,
のエアバースト。
nice.
これはどちらも戦いに慣れている。
いい差し返しだな。
こういうのがね見られるのが大会の醍醐味。
あ、うまい。
ヒット確認がしっかりしていた。これはさす
Oh,
がに
is it, yeah, this should kill.
スキル。
Oh,
1ラウンド目は PBM さんが獲得。2ラウンド目どうするか。キャラクターはキャラクター
so we're gonna switch. Oh, he's gonna go for
1P が
Hideo.
隼人続投。 2P がヒデオに変えてきました。
Yeah, there we go. The air fireballs.
ジャックで打ってますかね。追加を出してないか。
そうですね。空中戦派遣は弱だとうまい。バックステエアバーストがさっきから双方火を吹きますね。
Interesting that they didn't use the dive kick loop. At least not yet.
うまい。出し切っていた。素晴らしい。技の終わり際を狙ったあれですけどね。アンセルさんも
Oh,
素晴ら
that
しかっ
whiff.
たん
He
ですよ
wanted to get
ね。
away from him.
出し切ってくる。
Oh no, he managed to use the alpha counter in the or the tardy counter
大体スーパーアーマーがつくんですね。
right when he did the
どのキャラも
super.
つくんですけど、
Not an
スーパーアーマー
optional
の時間が
choice.
長い。
Not the optimal choice. I'm sorry.
間に合った。
Oh, he went for the low.
素晴らしかった。
All right. Move a little bit forwards and let's see. Who else do we have?
うまかったですね。真空竜巻か。
勝った
All right. Oh, we have Nagare. Okay. Hopefully they'll get to play them. Or maybe... Oh, there he is. We're gonna see him on
ル
point?
ーザーズで見かけなくて、普通にウィナーズで見かけてもおか
Let's
しくない
see.
ような
Oh, we have
豪華カード
Kyoko
が
on
ついてますが
point. Oh, there we go. Nagare is here. Now you guys gonna see how weird he
キャラ的に
is.
はちょっと流れ厳しいところもありますが、
Okay, that didn't hit.
当たんないんじゃん。アーマーで結果耐えてましたけどね。
Oh, look at that damage. Did you guys see that damage? Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back again.
うまい。
Hold on, sorry about that, but I want you to see why
と流れ厳し
why
いところもあり
Kyoko
ます
is very strong in this game.
アーマーで結果耐えてましたけどね。
Look at that. That's just from one bar, almost 50% health.
おっと使った。
Yeah, this is his flipper super, like I said. And there he is, diving in.
そうです。
有利。
固めに行けるほどではないにしろ。オーバードフライ。
Ah, he tried to use the CPR command grab.
あ、隠ったな。
あれはね、
Oh, he does it again.
攻撃をガードさせちゃいけないんですね。
なぜ
Oh, that almost killed.
強固だけ最速でジャックパンチが間に合っちゃうんです。
そう
Oh, he's backing off. He's backing off.
唯一のね
But he can't run away forever.
使える女。
危ない
Oh, he's trying his best. He's trying to hit the chip damage.
ほぼない。なんなら流れ有利ぐらいの勢いなんで、
Oh.
出し切って終わるのはいい判断です。
Oh, he's trying the command grab again, but it's... Ah, yeah, he couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't answer to that. He had only a little bit of health and he almost died.
で、言ってる間にヨッさんが1ラウンド獲得。キャラは変えない。
Ah, of course he's gonna switch to Hayato.
ちょっとゲージがないのが心もとないですけど、まあでもすぐ溜まりますからね、このゲーム。
相手の攻撃食らうと森もうまい。
By the way, that rear back punch, that has armor in it. Oh, you see that? This is the mechanic, like I said, which can cancel team attacks.
だいぶ長いですよね。半秒ぐらい。
長いですね。
こうやって反撃できそうなタイミングだなと思って反撃したところ、スーパーアーマーで抜けてくるという。
There we go, the command grab super again. It's so much better than her kick super because
残り1回ですか
it
ね。
does a lot.
股間の
It
ね
does a
フレームに
lot.
露骨にそう4ぐらい最大でももっとあるか。ガンとかボーマンとかめちゃくちゃ壊してコパンが遅いですからね。
Get back out of there.
2桁いってるあいつらは。
他のキャラの強攻撃より遅いぐらいはな。
He's trying to go. Oh! Is he able to punish?
だから本当は最初
Oh,
のキャラ
it
に合わせて
failed.
そういうとこは調整した方がいいんですけど、それはそれで
Yeah, when you see it fail, you see the opponent actually hit with their
というわけでヨッさんが
with their partner attack.
1回戦が終わりです。終わりです。
長文さんもありがとうございました。
All right, let's see who do we have next. Okay, we have Roberto in this. Roberto earlier on was thought one of the best characters in the game,
勝ち方ももう
but the more we moved on with playing the game, he just went from S tier to A tier.
これは
Oh, he blocked that.
おうまい。
Oh, nice. The tardy counter into launch. Yeah, that's some big damage. Literally a command grab at the
もうね
OGG
皆さん
football.
コメントしてくれる皆さんも
Oh, the
会場に行ってく
launch.
れればどれだけ売れおなんだ
Oh, he missed the command grab.
飛行船が通りましたね。
このステージね。
Oh, he's just lobbing these soccer balls.
昔のゲームなんで処理落ちがするんですよね。処理落ちするんですよね。
おここで
Oh, that almost
う
hit.
まい。スーパーで割り込んでいった。
Oh, it's time. Is he gonna punish on time? No, they're running away. No, no, they can't.
これでツインシュート。
Oh, now they're almost close when it comes to
音
health.
符をサッカーボールで蹴散らしていくか。
Right, they're
この
trying to
他の格闘ゲームでは
patiently,
なかなかない軌道
trying their best to patiently find the right time in order to attack. He's just lobbing those soccer balls in order to get some chip damage.
あの軌道の飛び道具が強くないわけがないですね。
Lots of footsies, literal footsies going on here. Oh no, the super miss!
とどめを刺しに行く。うわー今のナイス
What
カ
are
ー
they
ド
gonna do? Oh, nice, the clash.
あと10
The
秒
10 seconds left. Ah, of course.
でもいい試
Yeah,
合見せてくれ
he
ます。
couldn't do anything.
お互いキャラは有利
What
か
is he gonna
続投
switch? Oh, he's switching to Momo now.
さすが生粋
Interesting.
の有利勝海ネオカオス。
Interesting. He was doing pretty good with Roberto, but interesting that he's going with Momo this time. Oh, it's the loop.
でこのモモコンボ。
Oh, he dropped it. Yeah, this is an
ただ
actual
昔まで入
loop.
らなければそこまで痛くはない。
Oh no.
カクカク動いて間合いを取っていく。これは音符を出そうとしてひょっと
Yeah,
した
they
ら
with a nice
勝負
bit
になってしまっている可
with
能
the
性がある
tardy counter.
うまい。
いける。444で
Oh my god, they're going right into space with that
処
one.
理落ちしやすいですよね。
体力を回復まだまだ。
Oh, they didn't counter
これ
back.
からよ。
He managed to get the heal. So, see that,
確かバリ
guys?
アのダメージが20前後ぐらいで
Let's look at this
最大
again.
40近く回復する。
Hold on.
回復まだまだ。
See that?
これからよ。
That is one of the party up attacks that gives you a heal. And this right here is the triple team party attack. And look at all that damage. It takes up like 5 bars, but it does a lot. Oh, it went for the command grab. Ah. Well, Neo Chaos did their best, but little Munchkin managed to prove too strong to him. Alright, let's see what else can we watch. Let's move a little bit forward. Let's go a bit here. Oh my god, the jab. The jab pressure. Oh my god, the jab pressure is... Oh, she missed! Oh, she missed the command grab as well. Yeah, but another miss? That is so unfortunate. He had the opportunity. I went for the DP. DP again? Yeah, this... Oh, okay. Yeah, this Momo is kind of lost. This Momo is kind of lost, to say the least. But let's see. See if he manages to bring it back. Okay, a little bit of... They're trying to pace each other properly. Nice, the punish with a tardy counter launch. Literally taking her to... Literally taking her to space with that combo. Oh, my god. Another tardy counter punish. Ah, but they didn't capitalize. Okay. See what happens. They're not fast enough. Ah, unfortunate. And they eat up all that damage. Another tardy counter punish. Oh, the OTGs as well? He did it again! Oh, nice. Oh, what's gonna happen here? No, that's an unfortunate whiff. That is so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. Well, they tried their best. They tried their best. Alright, let's see what else. Let's check this. Shmups versus Gas Mount. Gonna see some Bowman action here. Oh, he whiffed the throw. The air launcher. Yeah, you see that air combo that Hyo did? This is basically universal to almost every character in the game. Almost, because not everyone has that. Oh, another whiff throw. Going for the short launcher. Still not enough damage. Oh, went for the slide. Tried to go for the overhead, but it didn't hit. The throw. Oh my goodness, the slash. He should have blocked that, but that's unfortunate. The Bowman was actually doing pretty good. They're bringing Batsu now. Interesting. Because according to what high-level players say, that burning Batsu is infinitely better than regular Batsu. But interesting choice. That doesn't mean like Batsu's a bad character or anything. He's just like burning Batsu is slightly better. Oh, nice. They managed to hit with the back turn. The air super
ここ
fireball.
は継続してやり続けてる身として負けられないシュマップスさん。
And Shmups has a pretty good chance in order to like in order to take it. Nice. Okay, that should be it. Okay, excellent. I wonder if he's gonna switch to another character or stay as Batsu. Oh, he's staying as Batsu.
テイク。
Oh,
ユ
Eureka.
リカを出してきた。
That's a curious choice.
確かに
He was doing pretty good with Hyo, but
そうですね。
I'm honestly curious why he picked Eureka.
今日は確かにやることが複雑なことが多いので、キューバでやれと言われても難しいかもしれない。おい、できる。つながって
Oh,
る。
they managed to hit with their
こ
super.
れさえできちゃえば
Nice.
そうですね。
使い出すことが少ない
Yeah, as you can see here, Eureka's animations are pretty elaborate.
ちょっと出なかった
あとはどう？お、これはコマンドを確認しましたね。
That was an input error. 100%.
という。
おー続いてる
Oh, what was that?
確認してるあ繋
これ
がっ
は受け身が間に合った。
Oh, he missed with the super, but no, he's capitalizing with another combo. He still has enough meter. He didn't use
ただユリ
super.
カも、うわー、つながった。
Oh, never mind. He got this.
減らしきるか、減らしきった。
Yeah.
シュマップさん
Gas Mountain should have actually kept with Hyo. I don't know why he decided to change characters, but I mean, yeah, unfortunate choice. Let's skip around for a little bit. I see Kyosuke down there. Let's watch a little bit of high-level Kyosuke. May as well. Where do we go? Here? Oh no, it didn't start. Hold on. Let's go from the beginning. Yeah. Kyosuke had like a weird glitch where I think when he does one of his supers, he just stays up in the sky.
こうやってマイクを持たせてもらう身としてす
And
ごくね。
this other player is using
参考になりましたし、
Incho
楽しかったん
slash
ですよね。
chairperson. I don't know
ああいう
why,
見てるだ
but
けで楽しい。おー、うまい。
oh, nice! Already went into the
ナイスプ
super.
レー。
Nice play indeed.
すごい。クロスカッターガードして前強パンチで根性カウンター初めて見ました。
Oh, here we go. He has a
本当にね、
special
すごく楽しそうにプレイされる方は本
which
当
already
見てる
gives
だ
him
け
a
でも楽しい
mini
ですよ
launcher.
ね。飛び
Oh
が
yeah, I
取って
forgot
き
to
っちり
mention
繋げて
that
くる。
there are two types of launchers in this game. There's a mini launcher and there's a big launcher.
伊坂さんのスリープラトンをかわしてくる。
And with mini launchers, you get to do a lot less.
浮かして
You have a lot less airtime when you actually use your
飛びがよく
combos
通りますね。
compared to the big launch. Ah, that whiffed. That's unfortunate.
クロスカッターが入ってこうなるとおうまい。
Oh,
回り
nice.
込み
I forgot to mention. Yes.
今のは伊坂さん
But one of the
伊坂さんが取りま
mechanics
した
that you can have a dodge where you can circle around your opponent. This is very useful as a defensive mechanic.
前強パンチ。なかなかレアな技が飛び出した。
あれマイクロパンチですか
前強パンチです。後ろ強パンチか。すいません、
Oh,
後ろ強
okay.
パンチでした。
They're doing something. Oh, it dropped.
投げができなかった。
Ah, this GG's.
今のは若干投げが
Ah,
外
they
れていた
did
か。
drop the combo. The
し
chairperson
か
would
しインチョ
actually
でここまで
won.
減らす。
Oh, he's still playing Incho.
相
Okay.
当やり込んでおります。
Okay. S-Man, you are really a manly man.
おー
I
今の
gotta
は
say.
あのジャンプジャックキック蹴り上げ系は
Having
後ろ
this
にも
kind
安
of
定があるんで
confidence
す
in
ね。
order to play the weakest character in the game, especially when you're
受け
winners.
身を取らないナイス受け身。地上受け身に切り替えました。
Oh, there's a poster for Capcom versus SNK one up there too.
うまい通った。有利を取っていく。危ないですね。
All right.
うまい。
Oh,
ここ
nice! They
ナイス
went for the
スリーパートン
triple
お互い
attack. By the way, you cannot counter the triple attack in any way. The triple party attack.
単なるナイススリープライト。
Once you get hit by it, it's
そう出し切っていっ
over.
た。うまい。
You're gonna get hit.
着
Oh,
地際に技を置いてる。
oh no! Please don't drop the. Oh, you dropped the combo.
あれは受け身の方向によっては浮かし直して
Come on,
そこから
come on.
さらにもう
Come on,
一回浮かせられる
Chairperson, you can
という
do
お
it.
得な技となっております。
Believe in yourself.
おもう
技の判定か。地上受け身
The cross cutters.
出し切り構成にちょっと苦労しておりますが、
Oh, Ah, he went for the overhead.
今のマネージミにはうまい。
Oh, nice tardy counter.
前攻撃が
No, no, that was such a good answer. Yeah, he had enough. He had 5 bars in order to use the triple team party. I was rooting for you. I was rooting for the inChaIght player / chairperson, but alas, alas. All right, we're gonna watch one more match, and we're gonna call it here when it comes to this part of the stream. One more match. Let's see. Let's move a bit in the archive. Okay. Oh, we're seeing another inChaIght again. Man, we got a lot of inChaIght players here, despite being low tier. Gotta give them props. And they're fighting against Kyoko.
思い出すのオタク知識がとんでもない
Oh, here we go. Nice. Please don't drop the combo. Ah. This is a chairperson life, folks.
とんでもこの
Oh, the pressure. Nice. The weave.
一番上と一番下ですねこれ。
Oh, the pressure. The jab pressure.
4段階ぐらい
Nice. No. No. Oh my god. Nice throw. Oh, the anti-air. Oh my god, look at all the damage she took. Ah, she blocked it. Oh, nice. This dodge is pretty good. Is a pretty good way in order to avoid pressure strings, like what Gyoko's been doing.
このゲーム控えのキャラによって2プラトンに性能の差があるんですけど、今使ってるロイは発生が一番速いんですけどね。確か一番速くて火力が2番目に高い。
I feel bad. I feel really bad for them. They put in so much effort, and with only 2 team party attacks. Oh, wait. Yeah, they died by chip damage. Oh man. I feel bad for them. I feel really bad for them. But maybe they can make it back with the next round. Have to wait and see. Oh, excellent. That's a good anti-air. Nice. They had enough meter in order to use the team attack. And also, I mentioned, I forgot to mention why Edge, you see a lot of Edge when it comes to the teams. That's because his party up attack is probably one of the best in the game. As you can see, it's a pretty good anti-air. And it does a lot of damage. Okay, that's a whiff. Could have tried to punish that. Oh no. He went for the throw. Yeah, you can throw. Yeah, I forgot to mention also. You can throw the character from the startup animation of their party attack if you're in range. So it's not the be-all, end-all. Oh. Oh, no, this is a good opportunity. Please don't drop the combo. No. Oh, nice. The punish? No. That is so sad. That is so sad. What is up with these inChaIts trying to do their best and not getting what they want? Well. All right, I think that should be pretty much it. I think that should be pretty much it when it comes to watching a little bit of the high-level play. Let's get the music back on. A little bit of a high-level play when it comes to Project Justice. There is still like a lot to see when it comes to like the top tiers, like I know that Hideo has like a dive kick loop, and let me see who else. Yeah, we already saw Momo's semi-infinite. It's not really infinite, but it's kind of a loop. And yeah, I hope that gave you folks a good idea on how the game works. And like I said, if you want to watch the whole tournament, it's available in the description of the stream. You can watch it. It's around 3 hours. Let me see the timer for this. 3 hours and 42 minutes. You can skip around like the like character select screen or whatnot, and just enjoy the matches. Alrighty, let me move to the other room right now. Okay, this is not the introduction anymore. Oops, it's not the introduction anymore. We're done with the introduction. But yeah, I guess that should pretty much be it when it comes to this installment of inSAIght. Yeah, you managed to talk a little bit about my experiences with the franchise, talked a little bit about the gameplay, a little bit of the characters who showed up in the series, and we watched a little bit of tournament play, interesting tournament play, and a lot of parts being broken because, you know, the Incho/chairperson life is suffering, to say the least. It really is suffering when you just like want to play a character who's fun, but like extremely low tier. But yeah, anyway guys, hope you enjoyed today's stream, and yeah, thank you for watching either live or via the archives. Tomorrow I will be playing Street Fighter 3 Second Impact on the Dreamcast. You want to know why? Because I'm going to give myself a really stupid challenge. So in this port of Street Fighter 3, because it's in a pack, right? It's called Double Impact, and it has Street Fighter 3 New Generation and Street Fighter 3 Second Impact. We're going to focus on Second Impact. So Second Impact has speed toggles, official speed toggles, not from emulation or anything like that. There are speed toggles where you can play until with the slowest speed ever, which is slow 4 from what I remember. And then we have the fastest, like super fast. It's like you're playing the game at 4 times the original speed in the form of Turbo 8. So what I'm going to try to challenge myself with is to play Hugo, one of the weakest characters in the game, and try to fulfill the conditions in arcade mode in order to fight either Akuma or Shin Akuma. What I remember, either of them require a number of super arts that you need to land, and you don't need to lose a single round. So imagine playing such a massive lummox like Hugo, who's very slow, who's very awkward, at Turbo 8, and with the AI, which is pretty decently strong, to say the least. So it's gonna be something else. That's all I'm gonna say. Why did I make this kind of challenge? Because why not? It's for the content. Yes, I'm pretty sure that this would be pretty good content. Hopefully. Yeah, it'll be streamed on Twitch. Yes, before I forget. Because as with every Sunday, we'll be streaming on Twitch in order to, test the waters and see how I get used to the platform. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. And yeah, I hope you all have a great evening, afternoon, or night. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.